Okay, picture this. It's Friday night. The year is 1998. You're in the back seat of your parents' Honda Odyssey and you feel this vibration. It's not the car, it's the anticipation. You're clutching a plastic membership card like it's a winning lottery ticket. You pull into a strip mall and there it is, the beacon, the blue and yellow torn ticket. You walk in and it hits you. That smell, you know the one. It's a mix of stale popcorn, industrial carpet cleaner, and possibilities. You have 20 minutes to pick the entertainment that will define your entire weekend. If you pick the wrong movie, your Saturday is ruined. The stakes, they felt incredibly high. At its peak, this company wasn't just a store, it was a cultural utility. It was as essential as the grocery store. Blockbuster Video had 9,000 locations. They employed over 84,000 people. They were opening a new store every 17 hours. They were valued at nearly $5 billion. They had global dominance. They had Hollywood in a chokehold. And then, poof, gone. In the blink of an eye, the empire evaporated. Today, there is exactly one left. In Bend, Oregon, a tombstone you can visit to buy a t-shirt. Now I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, dude, we know this story. Netflix killed them. Streaming happened. Blockbuster was a dinosaur that couldn't adapt. And that is where you're wrong. That is the lazy version of history they teach in business school. The truth? The truth is way darker, way more twisted, and honestly, way more stupid. Blockbuster didn't die because of technology. They didn't die because of Netflix. They died because of a civil war. They died because of a toxic addiction to bad money, and they died because at the exact moment they figured out how to win the future, a billionaire activist investor stepped in and forced them to commit suicide. This isn't a story about DVDs. This is a story about corporate sabotage, ego, and the single most expensive smirk in human history. We are going to dig into the legal filings and the boardroom transcripts to show you exactly how a multi-billion-dollar bag was fumbled. Buckle up. We're rewinding the tape. To understand the collapse, we have to understand the genius of the rise. Because Blockbuster wasn't an accident. It was a machine. Before Blockbuster, renting a movie was sketchy. You went to Bob's Video Dungeon down the street. The tapes were behind the counter, the inventory was written on index cards, and if you wanted to copy a Top Gun, good luck. Bob only bought one copy because VHS tapes cost $75 a pop back then. And yeah, there was usually a weird beaded curtain in the back leading to the adults-only section. It wasn't exactly family fun night. Enter David Cook. He wasn't a movie buff. He was a data nerd. He built databases for the oil and gas industry. He looked at the video rental mess and saw a math problem. In 1985, he opens the first Blockbuster in Dallas. And it's different. It's bright, it's blue and yellow, no porn in the back, and most importantly, he used barcodes. He tracked everything. He knew what you rented, when you returned it, and what you might like next. But Cook was just the architect. He wasn't the emperor. The real monster growth came from this guy, Wayne Huizenga. Now, Wayne didn't know movies. Wayne knew trash. Literally. He founded waste management. He started with one garbage truck and built a global empire. You might be thinking, what does garbage have to do with Terminator 2? Everything. See, Wayne had this philosophy I call trash logic. In the garbage business, a dumpster is a durable asset. You buy it once, you rent it out over and over again, it sits there and makes you money. Wayne realized a VHS tape is just a dumpster that fits in your VCR. You buy the tape for $60, you rent it 50 times at $3 a pop. It's a cash printing machine. So Wayne bought Blockbuster and hit the gas hard. He applied trash logic to video. He bulldozed the mom-and-pop stores. He acquired everything in sight, but he didn't just open stores randomly. This is the secret sauce that nobody talks about. Blockbuster weaponized census data. They weren't looking for movie buffs. They were looking for kids. Wayne knew that kids are repetitive. They watch The Lion King until the tape wears out. So they plotted their stores in neighborhoods with the highest concentration of children. If you lived in the suburbs in the 90s, you didn't choose Blockbuster. Blockbuster chose you. But they had one massive problem: Hollywood. Remember the out-of-stock problem? You go to the store for the new release and the shelf is empty. It drove people crazy. The studios charged Blockbuster $65 to $100 per tape. So Blockbuster couldn't afford to stock enough copies for opening weekend. In 1998, Blockbuster changed the game. Forever. They went to the studios, Warner Bros., Paramount, all of them, and said, let's make a deal. Here was the pitch. Stop charging us $65 a tape. Sell them to us for $6. In exchange, we will give you, the studio, 40% of every rental fee we collect. Boom! Suddenly, Blockbuster could afford to buy thousands of copies of Titanic. They launched the Guaranteed in Stock campaign. This destroyed the competition. The local video store couldn't negotiate a revenue share deal with Paramount. They were paying full price. Blockbuster was paying $6. It was a massacre. Blockbuster's market share skyrocketed from 25% to 31% overnight. This was the golden era. It wasn't just a business, it was a ritual. The Blockbuster night. You grabbed the popcorn, you grabbed the goobers, you grabbed 3 movies because you had a 3 for $10 coupon. Life was good. The stock was soaring. But here's the thing about golden eras. They make you lazy, and they make you greedy. While Wayne Yaziga was building the empire, he was also building a trap made of late fees. Blockbuster discovered that you guys are terrible at returning things on time, and they loved it. They loved it so much that by the year 2000, they weren't really in the movie rental business anymore. They were in the penalty collection business. In the year 2000, Blockbuster collected $800 million in late fees. That was 16% of their total revenue. Think about how toxic that is. Their profit margin depended on their customers failing. They needed you to be late. They were betting against their own users. And while they were counting their piles of late fee cash, 2 guys in California were getting really, really annoyed. We're getting to the part where the villain walks in, but first, let's take a second. I'm doing a deep dive into the business disasters you requested in the comments. So if you're enjoying this forensic analysis of 90s nostalgia, do me a massive favor. Smash that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow, and it guarantees you won't miss the next episode where we dissect the collapse of Toys R Us. Seriously, it takes 1 second, and it means the world to me. Okay. Back to the disaster. The year is 2000. Blockbuster is the king of the world. Netflix is nobody. Netflix is a tiny startup mailing DVDs to people, and they are bleeding money. The dot-com bubble has just burst, and Netflix is desperate. So, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, the founders of Netflix, decide to throw a Hail Mary. They charter a plane at 5 a.m. to fly to Dallas. They are going to offer to sell Netflix to Blockbuster. This meeting is legendary. It's the business equivalent of the Titanic seeing the iceberg and steering toward it. The Netflix guys walk into the boardroom. They're wearing t-shirts and shorts. The Blockbuster executives are in $1,000 Italian suits. The Blockbuster CEO is a guy named John Antioco. He's a turnaround wizard. He saved Taco Bell. He's feeling good. Reed Hastings makes the pitch. Blockbuster should buy Netflix. We will run your online website. You run the stores. We will be the online arm of Blockbuster. And Hiyoko leans back. He looks bored. He asks, how much? Hastings says, $50 million. According to Mark Randolph, who was in the room, Antioco didn't get angry, he didn't yell, he tried not to laugh. He had this little smirk, this tiny involuntary twitch at the corner of his mouth. He literally thought it was a joke. Blockbuster's general counsel then lectured them on how online business was a fad and that dot-com hysteria was over. They laughed them out of the room. $50 million. Today, Netflix is worth over $200 billion. Blockbuster could have owned the future for the price of a private jet. But wait, before we dunk on Antioco too hard, we have to look at the hidden villain, the one nobody talks about. See, Blockbuster wasn't independent. They were owned by Viacom, the owners of MTV and Paramount. And Viacom treated Blockbuster like a piggy bank. They took all the cash Blockbuster made and used it to fund their other businesses. In 2004, Viacom decided to spin off Blockbuster. They kicked him out of the house. But on the way out, they looted the place. Viacom forced Blockbuster to cake out a $1 billion loan just to pay a special dividend to Viacom shareholders. This is crucial. Blockbuster started its life as an independent company with $1 billion of debt that it didn't use to grow. It used it to pay off its old parent company. This debt handcuffed them. When they needed to invest in streaming, they couldn't. They were drowning in interest payments. So, you have a CEO who thinks online is a joke, a company addicted to late fees, and a $1 billion debt anchor. The cracks were forming.
By 2005, John Antioco, the guy who smirked, actually woke up. He realized, oh snap, Netflix is actually eating us alive. He realized the late fees were making customers hate the brand. So, to his credit, he tried to fix it. Antioco launched a program called Total Access. This was genius. It was the Netflix killer. You could rent a DVD online, get it in the mail, watch it, and then, here's the kicker, return it to a store and get a free movie right there. Instant gratification, no waiting for the mail. It worked. In 2006, Blockbuster was adding subscribers faster than Netflix. Netflix was terrified. Reed Hastings later admitted this was the only time he was scared Blockbuster would win. But the strategy was expensive. It cost money. It required investing. And that summoned the final boss, Carl Icahn, the legendary corporate raider. He bought a massive chunk of Blockbuster stock and started a war. He didn't care about the future. He didn't care about streaming. He looked at Antioco's strategy and said, "Why are you spending all this money? Why did you get rid of late fees? That's free money." Icahn launched a proxy war. He wrote brutal letters calling the management incompetent and overpaid. He wanted to cut costs, bring back the fees, and milk the stores for cash. It was a civil war, and Icahn won. In 2007, John Antioco was pushed out. The board fired the guy who was actually saving the company. They replaced him with James Keyes, the former CEO of 7-Eleven. Keyes was a retail guy. He looked at Blockbuster and saw a convenience store. He literally said, "I've been frankly confused by this fascination that everybody has with Netflix." Keyes gutted the Total Access program. He raised prices. He focused on selling pizza and toys in the stores. He even tried to buy Circuit City, a failing electronics store, because he thought the future was selling hardware. That was the death blow. Netflix launched streaming in 2007. Redbox launched $1 kiosks in every grocery store. Blockbuster, stripped of its online strategy and loaded with debt, had nowhere to go. In 2010, they filed for bankruptcy. The blue ticket was worthless. So, what is the lesson here? It's not about technology. It's about the innovator's dilemma. Blockbuster had the brand, they had the money, they even had the strategy with Total Access, but they refused to do the one thing that guarantees survival: cannibalize yourself. They loved their late fee revenue too much to let it go. They loved their physical stores too much to embrace digital. They tried to protect the old business at the expense of the new one. If you don't destroy your own business model, someone else will do it for you. Netflix didn't kill Blockbuster. Blockbuster committed suicide because they were too afraid to hurt their own feelings. And that is why the only place you can find a Blockbuster card today is in a museum. Let me know in the comments, do you miss the smell of a Blockbuster store, or are you glad they're dead? And if you want to know how Yahoo blew the chance to buy Google for $1 million, check out this video right here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.